So in my last video, we talked about Heroes and Generals moving over to the Unreal Engine 5, a Heroes and Generals 2, a so-called MMOFPS. And very briefly, we talked about how they must use that term MMO very loosely. And more games are doing this, like Warframe and now Enlisted. It's as if because they record stats and keep records of things, they can call it an MMO. If the server you're on has a max players of 32 or even 64 or 100, it is not an MMO. Today we are going to look at a real, proper World War II MMOFPS. Released in 2001 and still kicking with a cult following, World War II Online. Not hundreds, but thousands of players on the same server, making supplies, running logistics, and fighting on the front line, all in a persistent war, being fought over a half-scale map of Western Europe. Persistent wars, each that could last up to months at a time. When you log off and go to bed, players are still fighting a tug of war. That town you took as the French right after dinner could be taken back by the Germans while you're in bed sleeping that night. This game has probably the largest handcrafted world ever created, with features and mechanics all of us Mil-Sims have come to love, and it's been doing it for more than 20 years already. It is highly underrated and foreshadowed, and probably skipped over by most because of its 20-year-old graphic engine. But what if I told you that the development team, Cornered Rat Studio, made up almost entirely by players themselves, are well underway converting this massive historic battleground completely and entirely over to the Unreal Engine 5. If and when they pull this off, it will send shockwaves not only through Mil-Sim and even FPS gaming, but all of gaming as a whole. What's up everybody, and welcome back to your channel covering everything Mil-Sim, tac shooter, and history-based gaming. Home of the weekly Steam Key giveaway. For details on how to enter, stay tuned till later in the video. There are just so many things to like about World War II Online. You always hear people say, oh, I want to see Hell Let Loose combined with Foxhole, or Postscriptum combined with Foxhole, Red Orchestra combined with Foxhole, a Foxhole FPS. And here it's been under all of our noses all of this time. I mean, you can play this game for years and only scratch the surface of content available. There are literally over 200 vehicles in this game, all player controlled, from Willy Jeeps to U-boats and even battleships. But with the countless things to love about this game, there's that one thing that holds it down, and that is the fact that it's running on a 20-year-old graphic engine that looks like Nintendo 64 with a massive draw distance. Now, I understand a lot of people can't see past that, and after 20 years, the development team has decided to finally upgrade the graphic engine. And what better time with the release of Unreal Engine 5. It's as if the stars aligned. Now, just a quick summary for those of you that did not watch the last video, and I will have it linked at the end of this video for those of you who haven't. But Corner Rat Studios, the developers, have acquired the small indie team behind Resistance and Liberation. Now, this team, who is affluent with Unreal Engine, will be creating the smaller, more casual Choke Point, which will be similar to like Day of Defeat Source, Day of Infamy, Enlisted, Call of Duty, these smaller like 32 player server type games. However, they will be using all of those first person mechanics and features and graphical assets, taking them all and using them to flesh out World War II Online 2.0's Unreal Engine 5 world. That's right, an entire half-scale map of Western Europe, all handcrafted with Unreal Engine 5. A massive undertaking to say the least. All while this is happening, the main team will continue to add updates to 1.0. One huge one that I've been waiting for after 20 years, they have finally integrated voice comms with proximity chat, squad chat, and command chat. No longer do we have to worry about a third-party communication software like Discord or TeamSpeak. They've also added artillery. With artillery, you'll be able to lob rounds at the enemy from miles and miles or kilometers and kilometers away. And all entirely player controlled, you'll be able to pack them up, hook them to a tow package, and cart them to the next location to attack. Of course, these will be targets for enemy aircraft, but with such a range on these things, the aircraft will be searching all over for the artillery. Now, if you're like me and can look past graphics and care more about gameplay, I suggest you jump right in. You can play 1.0 right now, and will be able to up until to the release of 2.0, which may take them many years to fully convert. I was able to jump in a game just the other day. Now, albeit player numbers aren't the best, but it's still a lot of fun. But we need to support this game as the Mil-Sim community, and if we could get more and more players playing, this game really shines when there's thousands all fighting it out, pushing forward and falling back the front line. You can play as a pilot and fly deep into enemy territory to bomb factories that will affect the supply at the front line. You can play as a paradropper, load into a C-47 with 40 other guys, as that was one of my fondest memories when the game first came to Steam. Paradropping with like 5 planes full of paramen, and as we landed on the ground and began to fight for the town, a tank column of like 30 tanks came rolling in. There's really nothing like World War II Online out there, and never really will be quite exactly like it, as I'm pretty sure, now I'm not positive about this, but I'm pretty sure they have copywritten proprietary code that makes this game entirely unique after 20 years. Now, it's very possible that every player with a paying subscription just quit tomorrow, and the game goes under, and 2.0 never happens. And I can't take another loss like that after what we're dealing with Postscriptum and now Squad dangerously teetering at the edge of a slippery slope. I just can't take any more losses. So I implore you all to check out 1.0. Again, you can log on through Steam or WorldWar2Online.com. However, if you do decide to support this project by getting a subscription, and they have many subscriptions, the max being I think $17.99, which gets you every vehicle, every class, everything. If you do decide to support the project, do so through WorldWar2Online.com, their website, not Steam. This way Steam doesn't get that 30-40% cut, and it all goes to them. But like I said, the basic gameplay is absolutely free. You can log in as infantry. I believe you can even get some lighter armor stuff, and there's like a handful of planes for the free-to-play version that you can fly. But if you're a brokey like myself, even logging on and playing with the free version is support enough. This game needs every player it can get, and we all know this genre is like oversaturated now. Y'all know how I feel. All of these games just need to hang on. We have these fart knife and Call of Booty gamers maturing every day. 4 or 5 years from now, we'll have millions and millions of young gamers interested in these more realistic, visceral experiences. It's all about getting these awesome games to that point. I don't think there's any denying 10 years from now, the Mil-Sim genre will be solidified. Maybe even bigger than any of us can imagine. Now, I should probably add right now that if you have the attention span of a goldfish, you should probably not bother, as this game has an extremely steep learning curve. Like I said, you could play for years and only see like 20% of the content available in this game. Now, there are so many features that we have come to expect in our FPS that World War II Online has had here forever. Things like free look, suppression, stamina. I mean, those 3 alone we've been waiting for Hell Let Loose to get for years now, and probably never will get because they have geared over to being casual. Now, I'm sure my little video isn't going to work wonders and suddenly populate the servers, but man, if you could go back in time and see this thing kick in with thousands of players, there was nothing like it. And still, 20 years later, there's yet to be anything like it. And like I said, they're constantly adding stuff. Here you can see rounds being ricocheted off the tank. These are live rounds that will hurt you. There are so many buildables. Players can now make trench networks and bunkers for when those bombing runs come. There's just so many different ways you could play this title. For all of you logistic players that play Foxhole, come give World War II Online a solid try. It needs all the logistic players it could get. And War Thunder players, I think you'd be surprised at this game's flight model, as I know the original team came from the best flight sims of the day 20 years ago. Here you can see a group of bombers going on an attack run.
And don't release too late.
I wonder what the guys on the ground are seeing right now. Did JC already drop?
Hell yeah, we drop.
We're all dropping. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at all that shit.
Oh yeah, a lot of them alone, but that'll work. Glorious.
That was badass.
All 8 away.
I have no clue, dude. I have no idea what's going on.
Like I said, sheer amount of content and features may overwhelm some, but for those of you who keep saying, I want to see a Foxhole FPS, well, here you go. And if we can support this game's development, like I said, when this thing hits Unreal Engine 5, woo, aka, it is going to shake the gaming world to its core. Alright boys, I'm gonna let some infantry gameplay I recorded the other night lead us out. Basically, the Germans are attacking our spawn point in this city. My buddy's trapped upstairs. He's telling me he's taken out a bunch of them, but he still hears one downstairs. So I'm gonna go in there and poke around and see what I can do.
I got 2 AI down.
I'm watching the outside. There's a bunch of Germans running into it.
Yeah, they were spawning out of the building, so it should be deactivated now, but there might be some lingering around.
Yeah, there's one that ran around back. I'm gonna go try to find them.
I got one inside with me. Downstairs someplace.
I'm gonna try and get them. He's dead. There's a dead guy downstairs. Oh, he's laying down all the way in the back corner. Little bastard. Alright, boyos, I want to thank everybody for watching. Remember, if you do decide to support World War II Online and its move to Unreal Engine 5 by purchasing a paid subscription, please do so through the World War II Online website and not Steam. Steam's going to take like a 40% cut. Alright, guys, I want to give a special shout out to my channel members. Consider joining the ranks of the Mil-Simp minions. Help me get this niche Mil-Sim genre out to the masses. We've got too many cool games and not enough players. Also, don't forget to leave your Discord name and number and join the Boogie 5 Discord. It's linked below. Enter yourself into the weekly giveaway. We're giving away awesome games like Beach Landing 1944, Beyond the Wire, No Plan B, Mud and Blood, Fire and Steel, Military Conflict Vietnam, Easy Red 2 and its Stalingrad DLC, and we get more and more all the time. Again, thanks everybody for watching. I will see you boys in the next one. Y'all be good to each other.